closer to my mouth. This is our normal procedure that we do before the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many here are familiar with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So not everybody. Okay, good. So Krishna himself comes in one day of Lord Brahma. Every day he comes one of those days. And then right after Krishna comes, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also Krishna, comes right afterwards. So he just came a little over 500 years ago. And Krishna Varnam Tusa Krishna Sangapangas Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Hi Sumerisha, that the Lord comes in all of the different yugas. There's 4 yugas. Satya, which is the first yuga, time period in the universe, 1.8 million years. Then Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapara Yuga. And this is the shortest of the 4 yugas, which lasts for about 432,000 years, something like that. So in each age, there is a process that can be followed for self-realization and God-realization. Kritaya Yajata Vishnu Tretayam Yajato Makai Dwarpado Paryacharanam Kalo Tadhari Kirtanam. Sorry. Thanks for the reminder. I knew what it was, but anyway, so in the beginning of Satya, everybody lives, according to the Vedas, a very long time, 100,000 years. So the process is meditation. So they spend thousands of years doing meditation to perfect their lives by meditating on Vishnu within the heart. This is called the Astanga Yoga system, different from our Hatha Yoga system. It wasn't just breathing and stretching. It was a way to purify one's mind so we could meditate on the Lord in the heart. Then the next age, Treta Yuga, was the age of great fire sacrifices and different kinds of sacrifices, which were perfected by the priests who could chant the Sanskrit words so perfectly, like they could chant a mantra, and with just the sound of Sanskrit, they could light the fire. They didn't have to have a match or a lighter or stones or whatever. They could just, the Sanskrit language is so perfect in its pure form that all they had to do is chant this particular mantra and light the fire. So during that sacrifice, the pure-hearted brahmanas who are devotees of the Lord could call the Lord and the demigod while they're doing this special sacrifice, and the Lord would come when he was pleased, if it was done properly. So then everybody got to see the Lord himself and the demigods. And because of seeing the Lord at that time, when we see the Lord, we become self-realized also. Then the next stage, when Krishna came, was called Dwapara Yuga. And there was established large temple worship, just like if you see this this transparency over here, it's Sri Rangam, and in the back the transparency is Jagannath Puri, Bombay, Vrindavan, Mayapur, and Madan Mohan over on the backside. So during Krishna's time, the great temple worship was going on. So still in India to this day, you see these things going on, the beautiful temple worship. That's called Archanam. That means, like here, we have the beautiful temple of Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji. So the Lord can manifest in the form of this beautiful deity because he's the owner and controller of all the material elements. So he can appear in these forms. So, but in Kali Yuga, we say Kalo Tad Hari Kirtanam. Just like you all just chanted some japa very enthusiastically. That was really nice to hear everybody chanting. So in this age, we develop our relationship with Krishna based on chanting the holy names and trying to lead a purified life by following the instructions of Krishna's representatives, the bona fide spiritual masters. So, kind of a long introduction here to what we were going to talk about, but I wanted to sing this song. This is a song about Lord Chaitanya. So, he came a little over 500 years ago, and he was Krishna himself, but because he didn't manifest Krishna's form, he manifested his mood of a devotee of Krishna. So therefore in the Vedas, Krishna is called Tri-yugi, because that means the manifestation of the Supreme Lord only comes in 3 of those yugas. But in Kali Yuga, he comes as his own devotee. So he doesn't manifest himself in the same way as Bhagavan as he did in the previous incarnations. So this song is a song asking the Lord for his mercy. So just like when we're sitting here chanting our japa, we're actually asking the Lord for his mercy. We're actually asking the Lord, please, Lord, please allow me to engage in your eternal service. It's a prayer begging the Lord. So this Chaitanya song was written, and it's about trying to gain the favor of the Lord through humility. Humility is our biggest obstacle in the age of Kali. Prabhupada said even a pauper is proud of his penny. So there's a lot of pride and false ego going around in Kali Yuga. Everybody thinks they're an authority on something, spiritually, materially. The persons who are the material authorities have no spiritual education, so they're misleading the population. So we're going through all these different kinds of tribulations because of pride and because of miscalculation to think that we own this material world. Some of you may have studied Bhagavad Gita as it is. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself explains that in this world, when we come to the material world, he has created this entire material world by his design. It's not by the concocted designs of the scientists and the PhDs. They don't know what's going on. This universe is way too big for their tiny brains to figure out. We're like little ants here on this planet. So the Lord designs this universe in such a way that if we take a humble service attitude towards him, then he maintains us without any difficulty. But here we're trained that we have to struggle really hard and get a job, and not that we shouldn't work, but because everybody has to do some kind of work. But all of our life depends on just that, earning of some kind of money through some way. But actually the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita that he sets up this world with demigods managing the entire universe, and he gives the demigods their positions, and then he gives the humans sacrifice to perform. And that's what we're doing now, is we're chanting Hare Krishna. So he said we were going to speak a little bit about Gita, so I thought I'd try to start with a little bit of understanding from Bhagavad Gita, that when the soul comes to the material world, our attitude normally, before we get covered by the material illusion, our normal attitude is that of loving service to the Lord. We're created as lovers. That's why we want to have love here, right? Everybody wants to have some loving relationship. But the problem is, what happens is when we come into the material world, our entire spiritual identity becomes covered by what's called ahankara, or false ego. And when we get covered by the false ego, and then we gain our first material bodies, like all of us here now have material bodies, those bodies completely cover our independence. We don't have any more independence. We're created with a little bit of independence, but because our complete identity is covered by this material energy, it's like going to prison. You no longer have your freedom of identity when you're in prison. You have some little bit of so-called identity, but really you're a prisoner, and you have to abide by these rules. So Krishna covers us by his material energy so that we completely forget that we're his eternal servants. So we're in complete illusion because we lost our independence, because we gave up our independence to try to become the center of attraction ourselves. And there's two aspects of this illusion. The first aspect is we come here and think that we can exploit material nature for our own sense pleasures. The opposite sex, money, wealth, whatever, power. Then the second weakness that we experience, the second part of the illusion, is that we think we're the owners and controllers of this world. Those are called weaknesses of the heart, because the soul no longer has its original heart symptoms. It's like all of a sudden our hearts became covered, and we no longer have the real symptoms of life. We're in the illusory concept of life. We think that we're this temporary body. We've assumed this body, which is going to go really quickly. Ask any old person here if their life has gone by fast or not. When we're young, we think no, but when we're old, we see how quick it really is. It's very fast. So we're assuming this temporary identity for such a short amount of time. We think this is us, right? So we're in complete illusion. So that's why when we chant Hare Krishna, we're asking Krishna to free us from this illusion, to engage us again in his loving service. So it's very, very heavy, the situation we're in. We don't remember who we are. So therefore we have to assume a false identity in the form of this body. It's a false identity. Why? Because you can't keep it. You have to get thrown out of this body at the time of death. And everybody's crying, oh, such and such a person is gone. Right? We leave the body. So we don't have any real permanent identity. It's only assumed temporary identities that we have in this material world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago as Krishna himself, and he gave everybody an opportunity to awaken their actual spiritual identities. He was so merciful. He was so magnanimous. He's called Namo Mahavadanyaya Avatar, the greatest merciful incarnation of the Lord. Because Krishna liberated many people on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, for instance, when they saw him and appreciated his beauty, that awakened their love for Krishna. And then when Arjuna shot them with his arrows, that purified them, and they got to go back to the Vaikuntha world. They got to go back to the spiritual world. So he liberated people in an unusual way by killing them, which a lot of his incarnations do. Ram killed all the Rakshasas, and Krishna killed so many demons, Kamsa and others. But in the age of Kali, Chaitanya does not come to kill anybody. He only comes to purify us. So because he is the supreme, all-powerful personality of Godhead, he just walked in part of his life after he took sannyas. He went to Jagannath Puri, and from there, He walked for 6 years all over India, South India, and all over different parts of India. And he was so magnanimous that just looking at everybody, just his glance, completely cleansed them of all false ego and all misery and awakened their purity of love for God. Just looking at them. And sometimes he would embrace them. So he was giving this mercy of revitalizing our eternal identity instantly. Nobody had ever done that before. No other incarnations ever awakened the illusion souls of this world's real identity instantly like that. And all of his associates, they were the same, they had the same power that he came with. He gave them this power to awaken the love of the living entities. So, just like on our board here, on the top of the Hare Krishna mantra, we have Lord Chaitanya's and his associates' names. Maybe some of you are familiar with them, right? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, please repeat. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavinda. So Lord Chaitanya came with his eternal associates to awaken the love of everybody on this planet at the time. And Chaitanya himself liberated millions and millions and millions of people by his walking through India. People heard that Krishna had come in the form of this great saint named Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So they would come to see him, and just by seeing him, they would become instantly purified, which was a total miracle, right? Here's this ignorant soul. He traveled through the jungle. I'm not going to end up singing this song. Sorry. He traveled through this jungle called Jarikanda to get off the main path because he was being followed by so many thousands of people. So he left really early in the morning to go to Vrindavan, which is Krishna's eternal abode here in this material world, his outpost. So he was walking through the jungle, and there were tigers. Just like everybody knows in India, there's still tigers, right? And there's all kinds of wild elephants still in different places. So as he's walking through the jungle, these animals would gather around him. The deer, the tigers, the elephants. And he was very happy to see them. And he would tell them, you all chant, Hare, Hare. And all the animals all of a sudden would break out of their animal conditioning. He was so pure that they would wake up, their spiritual identities would wake up, and these animals would chant the holy names of Krishna. Hari Hari, one who takes away all miseries, and Hare Krishna. So he did this. He was able to awaken the pure love of God even in the ignorant animals. What to speak of the human beings, right? So he traveled and he did this. He liberated the entire part of India that he traveled in. Millions of people were part of that. Millions, not just 5 or 10. Millions and millions of people got liberated. So we're here today to give a little bit of an introduction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because this coming week on Thursday is his appearance day. So just like we say, Yada yada hi dharamasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam taratmanam. How's it go? Abhyutanam. So some of you know the verse, good. So it means that Krishna himself descends in his own spiritual body every millennium to deliver the conditioned souls, to reestablish Dharma, Dharma samstarpanartaya. So Lord Chaitanya came to again awaken the Dharma of Kali Yuga, This age, there's no dharma left. Look at how degraded this whole planet is. In the Dwapara Yuga, the great sages would meet, and some of them knew the Puranas that had the future history of this planet. And they would tell them, you know what's going to happen? They're like, what? People are going to kill the cow. And they're like, no way. No way. They're not going to kill the cow. They would be so surprised by this declaration. But now look at us. This whole planet is a cow-killing planet. We can't even imagine the bad karma that comes from killing all these animals, what to speak of the wonderful cow, which is our mother, right? We gain our milk from our mother, and then after that we drink cow's milk. So it's a divine substance arranged by the Lord, but we don't have any appreciation, so we kill all the cows. Millions and millions of cows every month. So this planet is devoid of spiritual culture. It's very difficult to find spiritual substance in any of the leaders of this world anymore. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish what was called Daivi Varnashram, or Transcendental Varnashram. Krishna says Chatur Varnam Mayashristam Guna Karma Vibhagasha, that Krishna establishes societies, organizations, so people can learn how to act civilized. That's gone. The civility is gone, right? Everybody's exploiting each other. The men are taking advantage of the women. The businessmen are cheating everybody. So many things are going on. It's inconceivable how dark this age is. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish a different kind of varnashram, a Daivi Varnashram, which is based on two principles. First is called the Bhagavat Vidhi. Bhagavat Vidhi means the study of Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavat, like Bhagavad, and the Srimad Bhagavatam. These two literatures are our form of enlightenment and education. Those are the main two literatures that we're supposed to study as humans. And then the Pancharatrika Vidhi means we come and worship and offer our humble obeisances by putting our proud heads on the ground and offering respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to try and develop a little bit of humility. So Lord Chaitanya taught us that if we sing the names of the Lord, then we can have the effect of the association of the Lord. And by the association of the Lord, our hearts can become purified, cleansed, and we can reawaken our real identity as the eternal servants of the Lord. So it's very wonderful that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and taught us this fantastic Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that our teacher Srila Prabhupada, maybe some of you are familiar with Prabhupada, maybe not. He's not very well known because he didn't put himself in the center of his movement. He made it called the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, when actually it was his movement that he started by himself in a completely crazy situation, taking a ship from India for 35 days, having 2 heart attacks on the boat. It was a miracle that he even made it to America. But what happened was, when he finally got to America, it's a long story, when he finally got to America, then for another year, he wasn't able to establish his own center. He had to live on the streets of New York and stay in different people's places. He didn't actually have a home. Finally, some people helped him after he had a run-in with an LSD freak. Some of you don't know what that means, but there were some pretty heavy hallucinogenic drug takers back in the day, and Prabhupada was roommates with one. And the guy went so crazy one day that Prabhupada grabbed just basically he didn't grab anything really, he just ran out of the place, down 4 flights of stairs onto the street. and didn't know what to do because this guy was too crazy. But he was peacefully there writing his Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita commentary. And then so he called up one of his friends and he spent the night there. And then the next day, Mukunda Goswami, Michael Grant, and him, he found Prabhupada a place on 26 2nd Avenue in New York City. Anybody here been to 26 2nd Avenue? It's a really nice little place called Matchless Gifts. So then Prabhupada started. And then after some time, the first person asked him, Swamiji, can I become your disciple? And so Prabhupada, that started everything, and he had his first initiation with 11 people. But Prabhupada was enlightening everybody and teaching them Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So he established in this little tiny place, in a small area of New York City, the teachings of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita and the process of devotional service as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which are the same principles Krishna teaches, but he gave them in the practical sense that he was practicing them himself as a devotee. So we're trying to give some idea of Lord Chaitanya's appearance this coming week, that we ignorant souls, forgive me for saying that we're ignorant, but we are ignorant because we don't know who we are. We think we're this body. So that means we're in total ignorance and illusion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to awaken us through this process of chanting Hare Krishna, so we would gradually wake up and be able to understand that we're really the eternal servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That's our eternal nature and identity. So this song is a song praying to Lord Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dayo Koromori, begging the Lord for his daya, for his mercy. And then he's being recognized as the most merciful incarnation with Lord Nityananda, the second verse. Then the third verse is a prayer to Lord Nityananda, who's the original guru. Everybody knows who Balaram is, Krishna's brother. He comes in the form of Nityananda, who is the original teacher. Then he prays to Advaita. Has anybody here heard of Mahavishnu, who creates the whole material existence? Mahavishnu came as his associate named Advaita Acharya. And then he also came with other internal associates named Gadadhar, who's the pleasure potency of Srimati Radharani. So he's the special worshiper of Krishna in the form of Chaitanya and Nityananda. Then, anybody here heard of Narada Muni? He came as Narada Muni as Srivas Thakur, who is the eternal associate servant of the Lord, representing us jivas who can have many different wonderful relationships with the Lord. So together, this is called the five truths. The Lord descended with these other eternal aspects of himself called the Pancha Tattva. So here we have the Pancha Tattva Maha Mantra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So our recommendation, what time's the class stop? What time, how much time do I have? Anybody know? When is it supposed to end? Huh? 6:15? Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. So he comes, and in the form of his names, he's giving us that wonderful pure association so that our love for Krishna can awaken. So when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we're all supposed to begin by chanting not just once, but several times, the Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda, so that by the association of Chaitanya and his eternal associates, we become free from the offenses to chanting Hare Krishna. Krishna accepts offenses when you chant his names. You have to learn how to act purely when you're chanting Krishna's names. That's why we give up sinful activities when we chant. Eventually, we learn how to give up sinful activities by the strength of the chanting. But before that, we worship Chaitanya, and during that whole time, in our whole life, we worship Chaitanya by chanting this mantra, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, so that by his association and mercy, we'll be able to chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna will reveal himself and ourselves at the same time. So when you understand God, you automatically understand everything, including ourselves, because we're parts of God and he created us. So I was going to start and read some of the verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita that describe the beginning. It's called the chapter called Lord Chaitanya in 5 Features, which we just talked about, the 5 different personalities and what they represent and everything. But we have time. Should we still chant the song? Okay, we have time. Okay. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Toma Bina Ke dayalu jagata samsare Toma vina ke dayalu jagata samsare Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara Patita pavana hetu Mosamo patita Prabhu Napoi beara Mosamo patita Prabhu Napoi beara Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Shuki Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda Shuki Kripa Bolo Kana Koro Abimbaro Tuki Kripa Bolo Kana Koro Abimbaro Tuki Daya Koro Sita Pati Advaita Goshai Daya Koro Sita Pati Tagoshai Tava Kripa Bole Pai Chaitanya Nitai, Tava Kripa Bole Pai, Chaitanya Nitai, Haha Swarup Sanatana, Rupa Raghunata Sanatana Raghunata Bhatta Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanata Bhatta Juga Vaha Prabhu Lokanata Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamage Narottamo Dasa Ramachandra Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Toma Vina Kedayalu Jagata Sansare Toma Vina Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for singing that song. Sorry, I think it's hard to get in the right position. Anyway, so we have any questions or comments so far? Any comments? Anybody have any arguments? Yes. Haribol Nandini.
Hare Krishna. So, although, I was reading a lot in Prabhupada's books, and at one point he says that it is very difficult to give up these designations. I'm Indian, I'm Western, I'm black, I'm white, I'm male, I'm female. He says this in a commentary, but then he says, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and chanting the holy name, we can gradually revive our dormant, our eternal constitutional position. But he emphasized the vital importance of association with those devotees who are following in this path of chanting Hare Krishna and worshiping Lord Chaitanya, Patita Pavana. So that's one comment. And the other comment I would like to say is that Chaitanya Chandra, I've known for many, many years, even when he was a brahmachari in the early days, and we were all doing temple tours. Our spiritual master.
Since 82, right?
82.
I went to your
It
house.
was 82. And I just wanted to comment that Chaitanya's had health challenges over the past few years. Serious health challenges. Please, I hope you don't mind I'm saying this, Chaitanya.
I do, but go ahead.
But I'm going to say it anyways. So he has had strokes. He's had seizures. I brought prasadam to him in the hospital. And I just want to say that by dint of his Krishna consciousness, having association with Srila Prabhupada and many, many beautiful spiritual souls, just see how purity is the force and how he can sit here and give this amazing class to illuminate all of us. Hare Krishna Chaitanya.
Your first comment is about this song. The last line is Ramachandra Sangha Mage Narotamo Dasa. So Srila Prabhupada describes in this song that we're dependent on that association. And we're actually dependent on association of those persons who have given up material sense gratification and who are, like you're saying, gradually engaged in Krishna's service. So my main kind of comment to that comment is that the statements of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, I just got finished reading the Bhagavad Gita all the way through on our little online class on Facebook Live. And I hadn't read the entire thing all the way through with purports for a long, long time. I've read many parts of it, and I sing chapters of it daily and this and that, but to go through the entire thing, reading the purports and thinking about and meditating on the points and speaking a little bit, it became so apparent that Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is the actual source of liberation in this world, because it gives us all the information of how we're entangled here in this world and how to get out. Just like if you're really sick and your health is not normal, and you have a really good doctor who knows how to actually cure diseases, then they can tell you what the symptoms of the disease are, how you need to change your diet, how you need to change your medication, and even change your association so you don't get tempted to break your specific diet and medicine. So Krishna, the most masterfully, because he's the most intelligent of all people, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he explains these things so clearly that Krishna himself, because he was trying to remove the doubts of Arjuna, who had become under illusion, and Krishna was trying to explain to him everything in such minute detail that he made it so clear to Arjuna that he was the owner of all the material energy. He had created all of it. He manifested all according to his plan. He injected all of his souls into this material energy, and he created the 8,400,000 different types of body that we can have to think that we're enjoying independently of him in this material world. And he's the destroyer of the universe also. And not just our little tiny planet, the Earth, which is very tiny. This universe is really big. And there's many millions of material universes, according to him in the Bhagavad Gita. So, we're trying to promote that everybody very meticulously study Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. Then all your doubts will be removed and you'll be able to surrender to Krishna like Arjuna did. It's a very, very powerful experience going through Bhagavad Gita. Getting freed from all the confusion, having all your questions answered, having all your doubts removed that Krishna is God. It's so powerful. So that's my 1 minute promo here of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is that if we want the answers and we want to become happy, we have to take the direction of this scripture, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and not other translations. I'm sorry. There are so many people that translate Gita that don't understand Krishna. Arjuna was qualified to understand Krishna. Krishna says, Bhaktosi me, priyosi me. He goes, you're my devotee and my friend. So I'm explaining to you all this confidential information. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, you'll see that every chapter, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, up to the 18th, every chapter is more confidential than the one before it. Krishna's giving so much detail to make it clear in our minds that he's actually God and he's the proprietor of everything. That we're not the proprietors, we're just the servants of the Lord. And when we take that position, that we can accept that we're the servants of the Lord, then he will maintain us without us having to be in anxiety about it. Otherwise, we see ourselves as separate, and we're in anxiety about our maintenance. It's one of the things we all stress out about, right? Our maintenance in this world. But Krishna makes it really clear in Gita that he's in control of the entire situation. And he set it up so that we'll be maintained if we do our devotional service, if we do our little sacrifices. And the first sacrifice he recommends is Yagna Shishtasino Santo Mujate Sarvakilbishar. He said, if you offer your food to me, then I'll accept it. Patram Pushpam Palam Tayam Yome Bhakta Prayachati. If you offer with love and devotion, I'll accept it. And then when you eat or honor this spiritual food, you become free from papa, from all sin, and become purified. So we're teaching here, Prabhupada taught us right from the beginning to eat food offered to Krishna. Don't eat food not offered to Krishna. Eat food offered to Krishna. That way you get purified when you eat. Take the time to make the sacrifice to offer your food to Krishna. Then, of course, we're recommending everybody chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we're up on time. We still have a minute. Yeah, another comment?
Oh, yeah. You have at least 5 more minutes. We could go to 6:20 if we need to.
Well, there's any more questions? He has a question. Right here. Thank you.
Prabhuji, so how do we practically in everyday life get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya?
How do we practically get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? Well, as in the song, it describes Lord Chaitanya, we're praying for his mercy, and then we're saying, Ha ha Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi, that we're miserable in this material world. But Lord Chaitanya, but no, Lord Nityananda, Nitya Ananda, his name suggests that he's always in ecstasy. So we try to associate with the teachings of Lord Nityananda and his holy names in order that we can get some of that nectar from him, because he's, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he comes to this world, he's not like us. We're struggling with relationships here. We don't actually enjoy blissfully any relationship we have here. We get certain small degrees of happiness, but we're not like Krishna, Lord Chaitanya. They emanate spiritual ecstasy from their beings, and the relationships they have are based on this transcendental, eternal, ecstatic love that they have for each other. And we got to see that with Prabhupada, that he had that ecstatic love, and we were so overwhelmed by that. I just saw a post by somebody talking about this old devotee friend of mine, Riktananda, on Facebook. So Riktananda was telling me back in the 80s that Prabhupada was speaking in LA, just like you're sitting here and you're sitting there, but everybody was a little more tight because it was Prabhupada, so everybody gets really close. And Prabhupada was singing Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. And Prabhupada went into ecstasy, and his tears shot out and soaked the first 5 rows of people with his tears. And when that ecstasy shot out of him, it knocked over the first 4 rows of people. They all fell back. The ecstasy was so powerful that they actually fell on the ground. And he was in the 5th row, and he got knocked over and got wet from Prabhupada's tears. You remember Riktananda? Yeah. So this is, Prabhupada had this ecstatic love. So to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, then we have Haha Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunath. We're praying to the disciples of Lord Chaitanya for their kindness and their mercy, because they're the ones who got the direct instructions of Lord Chaitanya. Then, that end verse, Dayakora Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas, we're dependent on the Vaishnavas who are following properly the process of Krishna consciousness, and by their association and mercy, then we can get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So the process is that we accept the guidance and shelter of the bona fide spiritual master. Krishna says, if you want to know the truth, tadvedi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, accept the bona fide guru, and submissively, like Arjuna, hear from Krishna and follow the instructions. So Prabhupada came and brought us the process of how to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. But it requires what Lord Chaitanya described as trinadapi sunicena, requires some humility. We're very proud in this world. We think we're the owners and controllers. We have big egos. But Arjuna gave it all up. He was like, Krishna, I'm so miserable that I can't handle it anymore. So you please help me, Krishna. Please help me. I surrender to you as a disciple now. So if we want to get free from the misery, we have to take shelter of Krishna's representatives and submit ourselves as humble servants. then Krishna can utilize our submission to teach us the reality of who we really are and the reality of how we're entangled in this world. And, as Prabhupada did right from the very beginning, he engaged us in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's missionary activities, because Lord Chaitanya said, Amara Gu Anhare Desh, right? He asked everybody, whoever you meet, you teach them how to chant Hare Krishna, you teach them the teachings of Krishna, and you worship Krishna. So this process that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave of spreading Krishna consciousness is the way that we get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, along with accepting the bona fide Guru and engaging in that mission. So here we have this beautiful temple established by Prabhupada as a base to learn what is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Because Krishna says he has a mission, right? Yada yada hi dharmasha. So what is Lord Chaitanya's mission? And Prabhupada made it very clear. Like coming up next Saturday, we're doing a big Harinam, which we've done for many years, in the middle of the R-rated St. Patrick's Parade. There's so many, there's like, on a good day, like it's supposed to be really beautiful, there's going to be like around 150,000 people out on the street. And a lot of them, we are giving them a great glorification by calling them the small jug eyes and mud eyes. Because most adult people out there, unless they're with their kids, they're all drunk. Because it's St. Patrick's Parade, and all the Irish love to drink lots of beer. So we invite you all to come if you want to come and distribute prasadam and come and chant enthusiastically. We have a float, which you may notice across the street up the road for just a few feet on the next block up. It's going to be all beautifully decorated. It holds about 30 people. And we're going to have like maybe 15 or 20 young devotee girls up in the front dancing in front. And we're going to have a nice kirtan going on behind. And then we're going to have people distributing a few thousand pieces of the peanuts that you all helped us wrap a few weeks ago and some other prasadam. So that's one of the activities that we do to show, to try and help the conditioned souls by letting them hear the holy names. And because Kalachandji's restaurant is so popular, we go by big groups of people, and there'll be like 30 or 40 of them, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, because they've come to Kalachandji's and they feel like they have some connection with Krishna. So anyway, we're going to do that. And then, of course, before that is Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. So we want to fast until moonrise and try to chant Hare Krishna more. And I've already went over my time limit. No, you all right? All right. Somebody else have a comment, or should we stop now? Anybody new have a comment? No, we appreciate. Oh, okay, Kartikeya, thanks. No, it's not that I don't like to hear from Nandini. She asks the best questions.
Anyway, I just want to make a comment because I was just hearing a class from Gurudev, Tamal Krishna Goswami, and somebody asked him that question in class. How can we please Lord Chaitanya? How can we get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? And he said, just chant Hare Krishna. If you chant in your Hare Krishna in Kirtan and your japa, Lord Chaitanya will be pleased and he will be bestowing his mercy.
Well, we say Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasta Eva, Nasta Eva, Nasta Eva, Gatyam. There's only one way to become purified in Kali Yuga. That's by chanting Hare Krishna. And we also, when we try to distribute Krishna consciousness, we've all experienced when we try to go out on Harinam or we distribute prasadam or whatever, we feel extra blessings. We feel the potency of Lord Chaitanya coming through. There's no doubt about it. It's very solid, the experience we have. when we try to preach Krishna consciousness or try to spread the holy names or distribute prasadam. So Prabhupada gave us a whole thing. We don't have to make up anything. He told the devotees we don't have to recreate the wheel. The spreading of Krishna consciousness is very established in this world, and all we have to do is participate in helping this movement, and then we get the benefit of direct help from Lord Chaitanya also. All right, I'll stop. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for tolerating this heavy-duty speech in the beginning especially. If you have any other questions, there's lots of people here who can answer them. Or anyway, Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody.